When you first meet Seche Kwamunana, you might notice her big smile or her unique, one-of-a-kind clothing that she designs herself.
See, I like to integrate cultures. My outfit here is this is the African country girl.
An immigrant from Cameroon, she calls herself a bridge maker between cultures and ideas.
I am a diversity, equity, and inclusion practitioner and a facilitator for the National Conflict Resolution Center.
For her, this work isn't a 9-to-5 job. It's how she lives her life. Almost 2 years ago, at the height of the 2020 racial justice protests, Kwamunana was living in Santee.
In the corner of Mission Gorge and Kuyamaka Street, which is where the bulk of the protests were happening. And then on the other side of the streets were were counter-protesters.
The air was thick with tension.
I could not imagine how can anybody be counter-protesting this. You know, it doesn't make sense to me.
So she walked over to them to try to understand. It didn't go particularly well. One man approached her and told her,
"Oh, I can't breathe," which I found very offensive because we're on the other side holding signs that said, "I can't breathe."
She walked away, gathered herself, but then kept coming back, listening and also explaining her experiences as a Black woman. All this to say, Kwamunana knows how to have a tough conversation, which is what makes her the perfect person to answer this week's audience question. It comes from 36-year-old Lamesa storekeeper and artist Alon Nakash. He's a first-generation Iraqi-American who says he's noticed it's hard to talk to people with different political views because people tend to shut down. He asks,
how can we have a conversation and not let it get to like someplace extreme? And like, how do we keep someone's focus?
Drawing from her experiences, Kwamunana has 3 tips for Nakash and others looking to have tough conversations. First,
go into these conversations not with an intention to destroy, but an intention to engage. If you're going with the aim of, I want to destroy, you shut down very fast.
Secondly,
get comfortable being uncomfortable. Expect discomfort and see it as okay, in fact, necessary. We cannot grow without discomfort.
And finally,
get into a conversation not to prove that you're right, but to sharpen your understanding of the issues. We come to conflict when our narrow experiences lead us to different conclusions about how the world really is.
But she says it's important to remember that engaging in conversations isn't always possible when the other person is unwilling to hear you. Mutual respect and dignity are key, she says, because tough conversations are not about giving equal credence to people who spew hate or racism.
Self-care is choosing not to engage with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. That's kind of my motto.
And yet, in spite of the setbacks, she still believes in the power of taking time to talk to people about what they believe in. For her, it's not about fixing all the world's divisions through some magical kumbaya moment.
It should not remain in conversations, right? We need them to move into actual actions. And not every conversation will lead to an action tomorrow. But I see them as sowing seeds.
It's about taking the first step towards a more just and understanding world. Cristina Kim, KPBS News.